respond to that. Well, what's your take as it concerns the private sector involvement in all these issue of bringing back our infrastructure back?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I can tell you this, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good. You see, the situation we have on our hands, it's not, to use the street balance, it's not a small situation. It's a huge problem. And then with positive thinking, I can tell you for free that we will achieve, we will get there in as much as we can form a synergy in terms of all that is involved, from the governance to the National Assembly and the populace. There has to be a synergy. And in doing that, there is what is called a situation of telling the people, giving the people, feeding the people with the right information before they now go back and feed on wrong information, which is called fake news. We should not, and we should never allow a vacuum in information dissemination enough to allow for the people to feed on what I can call, in quote, nonsense. What we're talking about this evening is we're talking about our infrastructural decay. This is not happening now as we speak. It has been with us over the years. It has been part of what I would call our systemic failure over the years. We're going to talk about this present administration. What is this administration doing in terms of our infrastructural decay? To start with, I am not holding brief for anybody. I am not holding brief for this administration. The only brief I am holding is for the truth factor. There is a serious infrastructure decay on hand as we speak. 1. 2. There is a serious case of funding. The decay we are suffering from right now, like I said earlier, it's systemic over the years. And then I will look at two factors, because I would like to look at two factors that are highly important. You said them earlier. You were thinking in terms of the road transport, let's call it in simple terms, transportation network. Because transportation drives the movement of goods and services. And it is the movement of goods and services that drives the economy. I've been saying this too, that look at it from this angle. We've relied so much, we started from railways. The railways were doing it. When I was growing up, the railways were doing what we call bridging for petrochemicals. You put your petrochemicals on the rail lines and they take them to wherever. We now digressed into doing that via road networks, which was killing our roads. But as we speak, we are trying to go back to what is necessary, which is the rail system. I guess let us concentrate on the rail system. And I will say one thing. You see, in terms of the rail system, honestly, for the past maybe 2 decades or so, we lost our rail system. And this administration, like I'm saying, I'm not holding brief for anybody. This administration is trying to bring back the element of the rail system into the mainstream. Because that's the only way we can save our roads. Let me digress a little bit. When the Lagos to Benin highway was commissioned, it gave room to businesses. Goods and services were moved. People were beginning to make money easily because they could move their goods, both agric and otherwise, to the urban areas where they can sell them, or to the ports where they can export them. Unfortunately, some of those roads, we've lost them. Now we're thinking in terms of putting the rail lines into perspective so that this can be done. But unfortunately, lately, because we are conversant with information, lately the National Assembly has been querying the Ministry of Transportation for saying, how come you will borrow so much money to the detriment, not necessarily to the detriment, by mortgaging our sovereignty? We're still talking in terms of infrastructure development, decay. We did our own research, and I will tell you this evening what our research says. We are borrowing money to do the rail lines. In Nigeria, we have what is called the FOI bill, Freedom of Information Bill, where you can go there and ask questions. We go there, we ask questions. We sit down. We are not aggressive in asking questions. If you are aggressive, the natural thing for a human being to do is he becomes aggressive too. So it gives you no information. Sit down quietly and get the information you need. Fine. We were able to go there and then were able to decipher how much was borrowed. Lagos, Ibadan, Kaduna, Abuja, Kaduna is already done. They were thinking in terms of Ibadan to Kano. We're thinking in terms of the east-west, which is going to be handled by a different consortium, which is going to be by Russians.
Okay.
We are thinking in terms of Calabar, Maduguri.
But we know about Lokoja, Itakpe.
They are all there. What I'm saying in essence is that is what I'm driving at. That is one of the clauses we have, some of the problems we have on hand. And that is a situation where the National Assembly queries that little bit of what they call the clause that we're mortgaging our sovereignty. My brother, I will tell you this for free. 2-3 decades back, we had what was called the middle class in Nigeria. Now there's no middle class. The middle class was thriving on borrowing money to do business and then having what is called ROI, return on investment, and then they pay back the banks and they still make their own money. Those were the days. That was the way we were doing it. Are you going to tell my father that he should not borrow money that he needs because he's going to use the family house to borrow money, which is our sovereignty? But my father will say, I know what I am doing. I am not going to spend them. I am not going to consume the loan. I am going to use the loan for a business that will yield more money. Even we will end up building another house. So that should be the thinking of the National Assembly.
How do we ensure proper follow-up and of course proper enforcement
implementation of the contract in itself? Thank you, my brother. I like you for that question. You said the question follows my trajectory of thought and my trajectory of what I am saying, which says simply, we are borrowing X amount to do 10 kilometers of rail lines. It is the oversight function of the National Assembly to say, okay, I want to see the X amount. I want to see the X kilometers you're building. I am conversant with it because we keep every tape of everything that transpires in Nigeria at the National Assembly. I can remember the time the Honorable Minister of Transportation went on air and he was asked questions and he was telling them that, look here, they were asking him about monetary aspects. He said, here is the man from the Federal Ministry of Finance asking about the money. When it comes to the implementation of the contract, ask me. What I'm saying is, I am saying it, Nigerians, I am saying it to you directly. I am saying to you, the people that we have put there to be our representatives. You have what is called an oversight function. For God's sake, do the oversight function without the factor of envelopes. Ask the right questions. These are facts and figures. Nobody can fault. We borrowed money to do a rail line. Let us do the rail line. Don't query the fact that, why are you saying we should do this? For God's sake, how are you going to borrow money from a bank without a collateral? Here in Nigeria, if you go to a bank and you say, borrow me some money, they will ask you for what? They will ask you for your family heirloom, which is your sovereignty. They will probably ask you, if there is one house the family has, that is the sovereignty of your family, they will ask for that house. But if you are sure about what you are going to do with the money,
you'll not be scared to.
You'll not be scared to say, okay, I'm going to use my house as a collateral, and then at the end of the day, I am sure even before that time elapses, I will have made much more money than what I borrowed. Most of these monies we borrowed have what is called 5, 6, 7 years moratorium, 1, and 2, it matures in 10, 20 years. So basically, if we are doing the thinking, which is what I will say, now that the National Assembly, I said this at the 8th Republic. I said, Nigerians, that was during the last Republic, I said, for God's sake, let us borrow the money. If it's a cold season, don't borrow the money that will give you enough fabric to sew you a shirt. You will get cold and uncomfortable. Borrow enough money that will sew you a trousers and probably a jacket like yours, so that you'll be warm enough to go ahead and do the job that is going to give you the ROI, the return on investment. Let us borrow the monies that is going to give us the fantastic ROIs that we need. To me, as far as I am concerned, from our research, there is no point saying we are borrowing money. If you are borrowing money for consumption, that is what I hate. If you are borrowing money for the right channel, that is what I like. But I'll tell you one thing for free, my brother. It is the National Assembly that has a good job to do. If we borrow money, Amechi will leave in another 3 years, right? The debt has not been paid because it's a continuous. It is the job of the National Assembly to make sure that when the budget comes in, whatever budget we have, whatever situation we have on hand, they should remember that we are owing X amount on this rail line that is giving us so much money.
Sir, what is your last word and your advice, sir?
My last word is we need to synergize more. We need to be more Nigerian, and then we need to think in terms of what can I give to Nigeria rather than what Nigeria can take from me.
Thank you very much, sir.